From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, October the 30th, 2020. We opened with Muslim protests in Jerusalem's Old City today against remarks made by French President Emmanuel Macron. This following the deadly terror attack at a church in Nice yesterday that left 3 people dead. Macron called the murders an Islamist terrorist attack and vowed to crack down on Islamic extremism. He also said he would protect the right to caricature the Prophet Muhammad, which enraged many in the Muslim world. 2 weeks ago, a French school teacher who had shown caricatures of the Prophet to his class was murdered by a Muslim extremist. The protests in Jerusalem today took place at the Temple Mount. Israel police arrested 3 people for disorderly conduct. There were also protests today in Gaza. IDF troops came under fire overnight in the West Bank last night. A homemade bomb was thrown at them from a Palestinian car. The Times of Israel cited an IDF statement that soldiers responded after the improvised explosive device was thrown from the speeding car. The soldiers blocked the road to stop the terrorist cell, the IDF said. The car accelerated in their direction, and the fighters responded by firing at the terrorists. Palestinian media reports that 3 people in the car were injured. Ynet said that one of those people is the son of a former Palestinian terrorist leader charged with carrying out attacks against Israelis since back in 2003. Well, a Muslim clerical council has adopted the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's working definition of anti-Semitism. The JTA reports that the Global Imams Council announced that they were pleased to become the first Imams Council in the world to adopt the definition, which includes defining anti-Semitism as delegitimization and demonization of the State of Israel. The council, made up of 1,300 Muslim religious leaders, noted recent peace efforts in the Middle East, a reference to the agreements signed between Israel and the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Sudan, and also noted an invitation to adopt the IHRA definition from the U.S. State Department's Special Envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism. They wrote, "We live in a time of rising anti-Semitism and terrorist attacks, which makes our responsibility as faith leaders greater, and even greater as imams." President of the council, Imam al-Budairi, said, "The Global Imams Council is determined to strengthen the bridges of peace between Islam and all religions. We respect the beliefs and emotions of all people, and this is what makes us different from the Islamist extremists who have tarnished the image of our religion." Israel's potential coronavirus vaccine will be tested on its first human this weekend. Hadassah University Medical Center said today that the Phase 1 human trial for Brilife, the vaccine candidate developed by Israel's Institute for Biological Research, will begin with a 34-year-old patient who will receive the first injection this Sunday morning. A Sothebys auction set for later this year contains what the renowned auction house is calling the most important pieces of Judaica to appear at auction in a generation. Parcel-gilt silver and enamel Torah shields used to decorate or dress Torah scrolls, signed and dated in Hebrew by an artisan named Elimelech Tzoref of Stanislav in present-day Ukraine in 1782. They are among 68 items from the collection of the Sassoon family, which will be offered at Sothebys, New York in December. The head of Sothebys' silver department, John Ward, said the pieces in this sale are not just the personal holdings of one of the world's great Jewish families. They are significant works of art and tell an important story of Jewish patronage, collecting, and scholarship. The shields are estimated by the auction house to each sell for close to $1 million. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, October the 30th. Live Shabbat services are coming up at 6 o'clock from New York City's Central Synagogue, followed by Kabbalat Shabbat services from the Hampton Synagogue. At 8, author Dov Seidman and New York Times columnist Thomas Friedman discuss how to repair the world at the 92nd Street Y. At 9, it's the documentary Hate Spaces, the Politics of Intolerance on Campus. At 10, it's a look at this week's Torah portion, which you can also see coming up next right here on JBS. At 10:30, it's a replay of the Hampton Synagogue services, followed by a replay of the Central Synagogue services. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, October the 30th, 2020. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well, and Shabbat Shalom.